Now updating breaking news on the north side today. The hours-long anti-violence march coming to a peaceful end. It started with about 150 protesters in the middle of Lakeshore Drive. It ended on the doorstep of Wrigley Field. Eyewitness News reporter Keiko Guerin is there tonight with more on the message sent. Kate.
Well, Judy, from what we saw on the ground, this was a peaceful march. Organizers and demonstrators originally said this was about civil disobedience, but disobedience to bring a peaceful balance to the city. From Lakeshore Drive to Wrigley Field, protesters in today's anti-violence demonstration united behind one cause.
Justice for Korshawn Lewis, justice for all the mothers that has lost their babies.
On this day 14 months ago, Nicole Duncan says her 17-year-old son, Korshawn Lewis, was killed by a Chicago police officer. CPD says he was killed in a shootout in Washington Park.
What happened to him was wrong. Shot more than 17 times.
Duncan was part of the large crowd that shut down Lakeshore Drive for about a half hour before marching to Wrigley Field. Organizers called for an end to violence in the city, better jobs, schools, and employment for Chicago's south and west sides, and for the resignation of Mayor Rahm Emanuel and Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
At the end of the day, they have the right to protest and to demonstrate and to air their grievances, and it's our obligation to keep them safe and permit them to do it, and that's what we did. Organizers say
they chose to march to the city's north side to, quote, redistribute the pain in what they called the tale of two cities.
Most of our black boys are being beaten and guns to their head by the police to scare them.
As soon as protesters arrived at Wrigley Field, they were met with barricades and a large police presence. But police say there were no issues. Demonstrators rallied for their cause and dispersed. A peaceful ending, leaving this message for lawmakers.
It makes no sense with all this money being spent. Why is it that we cannot reduce homicides by 75% in Chicago? Why is it that we cannot have 1 year where you had 100 or less homicides in Chicago?
CPD says there were an extra 300 officers deployed on foot, bicycle, vehicle, and on mounted horse for the 150 demonstrators they say participated in today's event, although protesters we spoke with say there were hundreds more that were not included in the final count.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.